Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Then and Now, the series in which I take a look at early games in a franchise and compare them to later releases in the series. This week we'll be comparing Duke Nukem 1 with Duke Nukem Forever. Hail to the king, baby!
This isn't the Duke we know and love. A horribly burned suntan and a flamboyant pink vest isn't the usual image for a hardened hero, but oh well, I guess we'll go with it. I'm not sure whether any of you will have played the first and original Duke Nukem, but I certainly did. I first played this back in the good old days of shareware, when 3D Realms was still Apogee software. Shareware, as far as I know, is now something of the past. I'm not sure how good a business plan it was, as no one I ever knew went on to buy the full games after completing the first episodes. Anyway, it can be really hard to go back to old school platform games from the 90s with a modern eye. Platform games, and shooters in particular, have moved on so much in the last 20 years, so this game was always going to look very dated. It's a good job garish VGA graphics and sound effects that may induce immediate vomiting have never put me off. This game was pre-sound cards, so all things considered the sound effects are quite impressive. At least the atonal bleeps and explosions are energetic enough. If you can look past how terribly dated it all looks and sounds, there is still a pretty solid game here. Some of the beginnings of Duke's badass personality that we know and love from the later games is touched upon here, not only in the bad trash talk before levels, but also in the way that the game feels. Destroying robots, vaulting over lasers and taking down helicopters all feels really badass, kind of like you're in a Stallone movie. I guess that feeling of being a kick-ass hero was developed on further in the later games, especially in Duke 3D. In terms of the actual gameplay, this is a relatively straightforward affair. You shoot things, collect collectibles, and grab coloured keys to open sequential doors. I suppose that's nothing especially groundbreaking, but it did all feel pretty cool at the time, and it certainly grabbed my attention for a while as a kid. Graphically there are some nice details here, and the enemies are imaginative enough. Perhaps I'm just getting a bit too old for these sorts of games, but I did find it difficult to engage with this game for more than 10 or 20 minutes a pop. The gameplay is just a little bit too run-of-the-mill, but it's a fun trip down memory lane and kind of intriguing to explore Duke's humble beginnings. Unfortunately, there aren't any garish pixelated strippers in this installment. Oh well, I guess a game can't have everything.
Well, after Duke Nukem 1, I can remember really enjoying the sequel. It was a similar style of game, a platformer with slightly updated graphics and a bit better gameplay, but it was good nonetheless. However, nothing could really prepare me for the awesomeness of Duke Nukem 3D. That game was phenomenal. I can still remember spending time at my friend's house, giggling at the gratuitous violence, and repeatedly hammering the F keys to fire off witty one-liners, and of course spending plenty of time in the strip club throwing cash at the strippers. It really was a truly awesome and groundbreaking game, and at the time we knew that it would be hard to make a follow-up. However, I don't think we realised just how difficult a follow-up would be.
It's genuinely hard to know where to start with Duke Nukem Forever. I suppose saying it was a disappointment would be the best place. I almost feel like this game was set up to fail. After 12 years of delays and intense anticipation, I almost feel like the pressure of expectation caused the game to implode in on itself, leaving a smouldering smidgen of mediocrity in its wake. There are some teasing morsels of the Duke we love and the game we wanted. The music, the attitude, the witty phrases and the one-liners, those all feel pretty good as the game starts to get going. It feels momentarily like Duke is back. But it's kind of a case of style over substance. Once the pretty fun intro section is out of the way and things get going, the one-liners get less and less funny and they really struggle to carry the weight of an ailing and uninteresting FPS on their shoulders. Even the first game established that Duke Nukem is about guns, explosions, shooting the shit out of everything and having reckless fun. That's what we loved about Duke 3D. Duke Nukem Forever just didn't have enough action. The pace of the game feels all wrong, which isn't helped by the unbelievably long and frequent loading screens. There were times I was screaming at the screen, "I just want to kill things, please let me shoot something!" I said that the first game looks horribly dated now, which is to be expected. It's a 20-year-old game. I did not expect the same comment to apply to Duke Nukem Forever, but it really does. A game this long in development has obviously required numerous graphics overhauls, but the licks of paint are patchy and inconsistent. I feel like an annoying observer watching someone decorate and repeatedly pointing and saying, "Haha, you've missed a bit," but that's how it feels. There's a jarring clash of relatively nice HD graphics with dated looking pixelated blobs, and that kind of attention to detail is just unacceptable. Even after a 12-year wait, Somehow the visuals have ended up looking rushed. Duke Nukem is an interesting series of games to do with then and now on, because it started out reasonable, developed and improved as one would expect, then hit a dizzying peak in Duke 3D, and then slumped back to mediocrity. Not too many franchises illustrate this rise and fall in such a clear way that I can think of. I almost would have preferred this game not to have been made, kind of like when my favourite TV shows refuse to quit while they're ahead, and end up slightly sullying the memory of the good bits by going on too long. I know this has been a pretty damning review, but I can't help it, it's Duke Nukem, man!
Thanks for watching this comparison video of Duke Nukem 1 with Duke Nukem Forever on the Xbox 360. As always, if you've liked this video, please click the like button, and if you would, it'd be great if you'd subscribe to the channel. Take care guys, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!